techness as he is on stage with Origen's mid.
Thanks, Pulse. Absolutely fantastic casting on the day. Now, I've picked a pair of mid laners, Peke and Power of Evil. Congratulations on your victory, gentlemen. But I do want to ask about this marathon of a series. At the end of the day, you were the ones to cross the line, and really, you stepped up big. And what was the changeover week to week from the Unicorns of Love series to now?
Well, so for me, it started before the Unicorns of Love series. When X-Pac started playing more scrims, it was really helpful for me to learn more about communication and map awareness, and it was really helpful for me to communicate with the teammates. And I think we improved it from week to week drastically. And in the Unicorns of Love series, it was kind of like, maybe I would call it like a tryout or something, And you can learn on stage how to do it. And I think we could show that we did really good today.
You absolutely did. I'm glad you brought up the ability to swap in Peke and you being able to learn a little bit from that and get better at the shot call and get better at the communication in team. Peke, for you, being able to swap into the team, one of the few teams in the world that's doing this, the only team in Europe, how much of an edge does that give you over everyone else?
Well, it's really scary at the same time because, for example, when I swap in, I went in with 0 warm-up, 0 practice, and at first you're a bit nervous because you don't know what's going to happen. But at the same time, I'm confident because it doesn't matter that much as long as the team plays really good. It's really easy to move in, because when I practice and when he practices, it's kind of what he say. We are practicing as a team, and doesn't matter who plays. It's just maybe different playstyle, maybe different champions, but the team dynamic is the same. And I don't feel any pressure when I'm playing because I know if the team is performing, I know even if I'm not playing at my level, I can do good, and that's the thing. And Tristan was playing so good as well now that didn't really need to change me in actually.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get at least one game on the board, but absolutely fantastic play from you as well, Power of Evil. But as a team, you guys have looked incredible this series, and it has been improving week to week. At the very beginning of the split, I want to rewind back in time. Everyone said, oh, Origen's going to be the #1 team, Origen's going to be the #1 team, and you guys had a bit of an uphill struggle. But it seems like you're on track for that now. Did you just need time, or, is this even your final form going into finals?
I'm actually not sure what happened in the regular split. I think it was adapting to the team style, to the team communication. It's really, really different from Unicorns of Love. So even how we do the after team talks, it was really different for me to kind of come into this, I would say, team environment. But I got really used to it now, and I really enjoy it. And I think with going into the finals, we are really good to go.
Really looking forward to that as well. Now, last question, of course, to you, Peke. Who do you expect to face in those finals, and tell me a little bit about why?
Well, it's really hard actually. I have no idea because Fnatic, we have played them a lot more, but we haven't played G2 at all, so it's really hard to tell the level of G2. Fnatic has a consistent playstyle that if you're not ready for will beat you, so it will be off to G2 performance. But I actually think that Fnatic can probably take the game. I will say it's like this game. People expect G2 to win, but it can go either way. Fnatic is prepared, and I think they're preparing well.
Well, we'll be in for a hell of a semifinal and then, of course, a crazy final match in Rotterdam. Thanks again for joining me, gentlemen. You guys can go back and join the rest of your team. Meanwhile, though, we are going to send it back to the analyst desk to break down OG's big victory en route to the big game in the Netherlands.
All these stats, all these predictions, I have no idea how everything got that crazy today. And obviously, it's all scripted, OG versus Fnatic in the finals. But let's
calling it already.
No, let's break it down. 5-game series. We have a lot to read off. Obviously, like you always say, there's part underperforming in Team A and overperforming in Team B. But what was greater? Was it H2K not showing up?
I think the key factor here is we highlighted coming in H2K's weakness in team fighting. Origen clearly looked at the same thing in their prep and said, hey, look, H2K don't seem to team fight, pick the right fights particularly well. And whether sometimes it was circumstantial of H2K being out of position or Origen finding fights with some of these comps, with the Game 2 comp, with the Maokai, certainly Origen just was like, okay, well, we're just going to fight you. And if we can fight you until we get a lead, we can build off this and eventually take the series.
I think also the team Origen, they made some very good adaptations in terms of pick and bans because H2K had that very beautiful game 3 where it's like basically a stomp, almost a perfect game. After they took away, or they made sure we don't pick the Cassidy now so we lose the early game in terms of wave clear, they took Lulu and Orianna. Suddenly they ran scaling compositions but with actual wave clear so they could stop the pushes happening from H2K, and at the same time, they also got lane swaps 2 games in a row. So they didn't get pressured in the standard lanes, which was the problem looking back at game 3. And suddenly the games were a little bit slower. You know, Origen had time to get 1 or 2 items completed. They went Rod of Ages, you know, for Orianna here in this game. And they have the Gragas jungle, who's not the greatest jungler in this current meta, but when he gets to his late game part, he's a fantastic team fighter, and that's why they can win these team fights.
Yeah, I think they played good team fights together. They know when to engage. We saw it in the first game. Source insta-TPs when he sees the opportunity, going over to this game where they play around the power spikes, Orianna being able to push in and yeah, playing beautifully together the team fights as well with shielding the ADC, speeding everybody up. So I think that OG just played to their strengths, and yeah, I think H2K also showed a little bit of a weakness in this case.
Sorry, it's just I was thinking back to the beginning of the split. We were discussing this on the desk as well. If before the split you would have given a prediction of a possible winner, you would have said OG was the best form. Fnatic had changed up. If you hadn't looked at the split and you looked at this game, they are an actual contender to win the whole thing. Obviously, they're in the finals, but if Fnatic, I don't know. I'm afraid to say anything.
I mean, the key thing here is when you look at across the entire split, is you're right. At the beginning, we were like, Origen, probably the top team, least changes, just plug in one player in. And then we got halfway through the split, and it's like Fnatic and Origen are halfway in the standings. H2K look great. G2 look great. Unicorns look great. Vitality look great. All way better than Origen and Fnatic, but whatever it is, the improvements they made in a very short space of time, when it counts, has been a lot better. I mean, Origen, you know, picking and choosing perhaps better compositions and playing around Power of Evil a little bit better than they had been previously is part of it, but certainly they chose the right time in the split to peak with that practice.
I mean, I guess you couldn't really wait coming into players. It's like, now you have to peak, and that's it. I find it kind of scary, in a way, that 2 teams can struggle throughout the split and other teams who would be tryharding from the start, you know, trying to improve all the time, in the end, didn't even get good enough. So once we got to playoffs, these, like a team like Origen, could just step up, like a guy like Source, and amazing. They suddenly look much better.
Quoting the interview we did with Prolly, week 1, week 2, or week 3, hey, you guys are in the same position as you were last year. You're tactically ahead of the curve. How are you going to make it work? He said, well, I have the individual talent to rise above and go further than we did. They are possible 3rd place again. That's got to crawl in your mind. For Forgiven as well, the fact that he doesn't get to play that final now, there's just so many things going on here.
I honestly think the biggest question is what exactly is consistency in actually League of Legends. Like, we see so many teams performing really well and then struggle in the end. We see it in different tournaments as well. I think that the mental state you know, calls a lot for that. And honestly, in OG's case, I'm just really, really surprised. I didn't see them coming out ahead, and now they have this really strong showing. So, yeah, just very excited for tomorrow in this case.
Me too. Crazy, crazy day today. We got to move on because the people over in NA, they want to see their semifinal as well. But here in today's semifinal, Sven put on his carry pants to bring Origen to the Spring Championships. KDA of 9, half of his team's kills, and an 80% kill participation across 5 games. He's our series MVP. Obviously, a lot of people played well, but it was Sven after that game 1 maybe. He absolutely stepped up. They relied on him also with the Lulu comp, so all praise deserved there.
Yeah, a lot of praise deserved. You know, maybe not every game was the tip top, but certainly performing very well in game 4 with the comp built.
I honestly think it's hard to choose an MVP here for Origen. I think they all played together as a team, and that's, you know, what you want to see in the end. So Sven just like the tip of the iceberg.
I just want to give a shout out to Amazing.
Yeah.
Coming into this, again, we didn't really know what to expect in this meta. We saw a lot of the carry junglers. He showed both carry junglers with Kindred. He then showed out the Gragas as well. Strong team fights from him. Really stepped up big time, and that's so important for Origen because they had some struggling members on the top side of the map. Also, the tanks for Soas, they just fit in this meta right now, and they can perform. And that makes it easier for a guy like Sven to then stand out in team fights and then become the MVP.
I feel also for H2K, I didn't expect them to be like they kind of seemed dead at points where they just let OG do what they wanted to do. Like, they let the Lulu scale, they let the Orianna control everything, and they play the LeBlanc and want to play aggressive, and I didn't see the fire, you know. And Origin seemed there way more ahead, so I think that's the point.
A lot to think about for H2K, but it's done. It's on the books, and with their win today, Origen claims the 1st spot in the Spring Finals. I did not think I was going to say that today, leaving H2K to compete for 3rd place in Rotterdam once again. Final seeding is the same as the rest of the playoffs. Whoever entered the bracket as a higher seed gets the choice, or side choice rather, in games 1, 3, and 5. Not thinking about that yet, but touching on tomorrow's semifinal. Fnatic versus G2. We said before today that's going to be a lot closer than today. Well, 5 games is pretty close already, so...
Probably going to go 5 games again.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
Give
think
us more.
those 2 teams are so even. I want to give a slight advantage to Fnatic, but that's, again, judging from the play they showed against Vitality. I think they had fantastic shot calling in there. I actually saw some very, very good and consistent macro play from this team. And also, again, I think this meta is just spot on for Fnatic, but we can almost say the same for G2.
Yeah.
Tank tops, carry junglers with these Koreans. It's going to be so even, and Perks is going to kill me now for saying this.
Well, I also have to maybe put a little bit on Perk's shoulders as well. We just saw Ryu ineffective on carry champions in the last 2 games on the LeBlanc. If the same thing happens again, that could go Fnatic's way. We just saw an example.
But I have to say that Fnatic needs to be careful because the first game they picked like Ezreal, Alistar, Kessa didn't go full scaling.
Yeah, we don't want that.
We don't want to see that. We want to see against G2 at least strong brawling as well. And I hope that Fnatic is not just playing the macro game in this direction, but also play like individually strong. And that's the only way I can see them fail.
I can't wait to see the tweets and everything coming out.
We
as
go
well
5
for
games.
tomorrow.
You can pick
5
either
games.
way. 5 games.
Gonna be great. In any case, we will fill in the rest of our bracket tomorrow, indeed, as the first seed G2 Esports takes to the stage finally and takes on the reigning European champions, Fnatic, as we just talked about, and then whoever ends up losing will play in the 3rd place match versus H2K. And then immediately following the action here in Berlin tomorrow, we will hand things off to Dash and the NA LCS team for their semi-final clash between Immortals and Team Solo Mid. Our matches here in Berlin will get underway at 5 p.m. Central European Time, that is 8 a.m. Pacific, and we will see you there. For now, though, more League over in NA. Thank you so much, Sheepy, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And, well, you guys as well. But,
Whatever.
you're always here.
We'll be
Anyway, we'll see you guys back home, back here tomorrow, and just keep watching because the semifinals are getting underway over in NA, and we'll be back here tomorrow for our side of things.
Lineups are locked in. Will H2K advance to their first ever European final? Can Origen take down one of Europe's best teams? They're looking to pull that trigger, and the target's currently Vander. They found Forgiven, and they've taken him down.
Correct. Back on now. Good. I pulled. Nice. H2
Power. But so is re-engaged. Mithy's on the front line. Sven's doing work. He's already killed Vander. Follow Sven's HP. He's down. H2K may have won it. H2K pick up the first win in the best of 5.
Can't do more. Keep going. I tagged him.
I can shoot you here. It's needs if you come to me.
Woo! Good job. H2 won.
Yes. The ace for OG, and they'll be finding the first win in this series.
Go Alistar now. Kill Alistar, then we can go back.
Alistar on flash.
Can we nice after?
Yes.
Nice.
Go Nash.
H2K pick up a dominant victory.
Go slowly. Blast on set. She said. Okay, jungle. Nash.
Origen are onto the Nexus turrets and even out the series at 2-2.
Nice. Go. I have E2, these two.
Good.
Shoot you. LeBlanc. I'm coming. She has no W there. I tagged her. We can Nash.
Origen take down H2K and are your first finalists in the Spring Split.